How to make a small room look bigger with the right blinds. This is one of those topics where interior design principles and practical window treatment advice overlap beautifully. There are specific, proven techniques that use window treatments to create the visual impression of a larger, taller, more open space. Let's go through all of them. First, understand how visual perception works in a room. Your brain reads a room's size based on visual cues, where surfaces begin and end, how high the ceiling appears to be, how much light fills the space, how much wall is visible. Window treatments have a disproportionate impact on all of these cues because windows are the focal points of most rooms. The eye moves to windows naturally. What you do with the window affects how the entire room reads. Mount high. This is the single most impactful technique. If you hang curtains or a blind at the top of the window frame, your eye reads that mounting point as the top of the usable wall space. The ceiling above it reads as extra, wasted space. But if you mount the curtain rod at the ceiling, or as close to it as possible, your eye travels from floor to ceiling in one continuous sweep. The room reads as the full height it actually is rather than stopping at the window frame. This technique works in every room in every home, and the difference is dramatic. We show this to customers in the showroom all the time, and the reaction is consistently surprised at how significant the visual change is. Even in a room with standard 8-foot ceilings, ceiling-mounted curtains make the room feel taller. In a room with 9 or 10-foot ceilings, the effect is spectacular. Extend the rod past the window for visual width. The same principle applies horizontally. If your curtain rod only extends a few inches past the window frame, when the curtains are open, they partially cover the glass. The window appears smaller than it is and less light enters the room. Extend the rod 4 to 8 inches past the frame on each side. When the curtains are open, all the fabric stacks on the wall beyond the glass. The full window is exposed, more light enters, and the window appears wider, making the wall it's on feel wider and the room feel more spacious. A window that's 48 inches wide with a rod extending 8 inches on each side creates a 64-inch visual width, a third wider than the actual window. Use light colors and shears to open up the space. Dark, heavy window treatments make a room feel smaller. This isn't an absolute rule. Dark drapes can look intentional and cozy in a large room. But in a genuinely small space, heavy dark treatments add visual weight that compresses the space. Light fabrics, white, off-white, cream, pale linen, reflect light and make the room feel airier. Sheer fabrics let daylight diffuse through even when the treatment is closed, maintaining brightness and openness. A light-filtering roller blind in a pale fabric that floods the room with soft light makes a small room feel dramatically more open than a heavy, dark curtain that absorbs light and draws the eye down. Keep it simple. Avoid visual clutter at the window. In a small room, a complicated, layered, fussy window treatment competes for visual attention and makes the space feel more crowded. A clean single roller blind, a simple sheer curtain, or a streamlined set of linen drapes. These all contribute to a sense of openness. Valances, multiple layers of different treatments, heavy cornices, and ornate hardware all add visual weight that a small room doesn't have the volume to absorb gracefully. Less is genuinely more in small spaces. The window treatment should frame the window and add to the room, not call attention to itself. Inside mount for a minimal look. In some small rooms, and particularly bathrooms, small bedrooms, or compact home offices, an inside mounted blind that sits neatly within the window frame takes up zero visual space on the wall. The wall remains uninterrupted. This approach is particularly effective when the window has attractive framing or bricks around that you want to show off. The blind disappears into the frame and the wall reads as solid and spacious. The trade-off is that an inside mount typically provides less light blocking and less coverage than an outside mount. For a small room where light and visual openness are priorities, this is usually a worthwhile trade. Use pattern strategically or avoid it entirely. Patterned fabrics and window treatments can work in small rooms, but they need to be chosen carefully. Large, bold patterns in a small room overwhelm the space. If you want some visual interest, opt for subtle texture over pattern. A linen weave, a light boucle, a gentle horizontal stripe. These add character without adding visual weight. In a very small room, a powder room, a small study, a tight bedroom, a solid fabric is usually the safer choice. Save the bold patterns for the statement pieces that can carry them. Mirrors and light as allies. This isn't strictly about blinds, but it works together with your window treatment choice. Placing a mirror on the wall opposite or adjacent to a window doubles the apparent light in the room and creates the visual impression of a second window. Combined with a light filtering window treatment that maximizes the daylight coming in, the room feels significantly more spacious. The window treatment and the mirror work together as a system. Choose a sheer or light filtering blind to maximize the light, then let the mirror multiply it. Specific small room scenarios: small bedroom, ceiling mounted blackout roller blind, or sheer with blackout lining in a pale color. Keep it simple. Maybe one panel of a neutral linen drape on each side for softness. Small living room, ceiling mounted sheer drapes in white or cream on a wide rod. Let them pool slightly. A light filtering roller blind underneath if needed for privacy. Keep both layers in the same pale tone family. Small bathroom, inside mounted roller blind in a waterproof fabric. Keep it clean and minimal. The window frame shows. Light comes in. The wall reads as uncluttered. Small home office. A solar shade inside mounted on the window. Manages glare without blocking light. Keeps the wall clean. The room feels open and focused. Joe's Blinds works in small spaces constantly across Toronto. Apartments, condos, older homes with modest room sizes. And we know exactly what works and what doesn't. Come in or give us a call and we'll apply these principles to your specific space.